Hey all, it's Sunday, September 12th, and we're working on the doors today. I was going to work on, put more time into the water tank, but I've got to actually head out of town here for a business trip this evening, so I don't want to work too hard today. So here's one of the doors. These are hollow core doors that I made out of 4 layers of that Luan stuff, which is, there's a piece of it right there. Okay, actually, you know what? That's the same wood that this thing's made out of, my sled. Okay, and so the door is comprised of strips. You can see that little seam right there. Those 2 pieces were that wide. They go up that side, and I got the same on this side, but you can't see the seam because I alternated where the seams go. So this one you'll see here. This one you'll see here and here, because I guess I didn't alternate that one. All right, so what that does is that gives you a light door that's really super strong. It's built on this table saw, so you can hear they're very, very flat, and they'll tend to stay flat because they're hollow, not solid. So that's why I did that instead of using plywood. Plus, you can't even buy plywood that's straight, right? The Luan stuff is flexible, so when you build it up and clamp it and nail it together, whatever you do, which is on some other videos that I made a while back. It's actually been months since I've made these. But anyway, so it's time to put the hinges on. And these are the hinges I'm using for these doors, because these are full overlay. The door goes fully over the edge of the cabinet. Like this is showing. This is the door. That's the side of the cabinet. There are other types of hinges that work the other way, and I have some of those in my project here as well, but I'm not going to get into that today. It's some custom stuff that I did. So what I did is I set up my drill press or milling machine, whatever the case may be, and I set the side of this. Well, first I put this fence on here and made sure it was straight, and then I set the edge of this flush with this and moved 1/8 of an inch. And that gave me this, because I went back over there to the bus, and I just kind of eyeballed that. I thought I wanted 1/8 of an inch. So now let's go in the bus, and I'll show you the door that I've already drilled. And and I use this piece of aluminum as a straight edge to, when I put the hinge in the hole, I laid this up against the hinge on this one and the other one up there, so that I could get these in there straight. Then I pre-drilled slightly, and yeah, so let's go in the bus. All right, nice and cool in here too. All right, so here's the door. All right, and you can see we're 1/8 inch from the edge. All right, so now one of the parameters I have is I want the doors to match. I've been shooting for an 1/8 inch space between everything. All right, so I went and cut me a piece of wood 1/8 of an inch thick. So we could take this door now and set it on there. So this door is actually not the size. It needs a little bit more trimming. But now you can hear the hinges are hitting, and we're just about flush. We're a hair for being flush, which is fine, because my drawers are not flush either. They're almost 1/16 of an inch inset from the side. So now we look in here. All I've got to do is mark and drill these hinges, and this door will be attached. And then we'll do the door on the right side, and then we'll mess around with the adjustments. Let me show you these adjustments. These hinges are fabulous. I love them. Got them at Lowe's. So this is not adjustable. Once it's in here, that stays. But there's a lot of adjustment here. This adjusts in and out of the cabinet. And it, well, how should I say that? Yeah, in and out this way. And then it also adjusts with these screws left and right. So you can true up the edge of your door to match the side of your cabinet how you like it. So the way I've started is I've backed the adjustment out until this is hitting right here. So that puts this door fully to that end. That's the furthest the door can go that way. All right, so let me put this back in place. Okay, so that's as far as this door can go that way. And the only way we could make it go back further that way would be to drill that round hole a little bit further from the edge. But I'm where I want to be, okay? Actually, I want to go that way a little bit. So I'm achieving what I want. I guess technically, I could have drilled that hole a little bit further than 1/8 of an inch from the edge, just so it's not so thin, but I'm gonna go with that. So we got our 1/8 inch space at the bottom. Now, one of my challenges is that the ceiling is not true. And that's because this 1/2 inch plywood is bowing between attachment points. And there's nothing to attach it to in the middle. So I'm kind of contemplating, I haven't got there yet, but I think I'm gonna scribe this top edge to the ceiling so you cannot see the difference in height from there to there. It'll look straight. I'm still kind of debating if I'm gonna do that. But what step I'm at right now is I've got to mark right, oh, the other adjustment I forgot to mention, these are slotted holes. So I can adjust the door up or down. They're fully adjustable. They're wonderful hinges. And they're not the soft close kind, because I didn't want to spend the extra money since I've got so many. There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I think I got 20 hinges in here if I counted right. And that adds up. Okay, so there's my marks. There's my holes. I just kind of eyeballed the holes in the middle of the marks. And now let's put this thing on. Okay, I put the screws in. I still have my spacer underneath, and I opened the door to put the screws in. So let's see how well this works. All right. Now, we could actually go down here. But that's it. Look at that. You know, there are more expensive ones of these that you buy that allows the door to swing fully around. But that's fine. I like it. I'm gonna put the little rubber stopper thingies on there so it doesn't make all that noise. I like it. All right, let's do the next door. And then after we get the next door, they probably won't fit. I think they're gonna hit each other. So we'll have to do a final trim. And this trim may not be a straight cut because the cabinet might not be parallel sides. It might be off a little bit. So that's why I'm leaving the doors a little bigger than they need to be. And next, I guess I'll put the holes in where the handles are gonna go. Maybe I'll wait until after it's painted for that. But we're gonna run the router on the edges and round off the edges like I did everything else. It's like a 16th inch radius. And then we'll give this a full sanding and plug the nail holes or screw holes. I can't remember if I used nails. Must have been, yeah, it was nails that I used, small brads. I used the nails because these inner pieces were like sliding around from the glue when I was assembling it. All right. All right. Looks like we're off a little bit. So you can move over just a tad. Sorry about the crappy video. Right about there. I'll take that. I've got my stop set at a 1/2 inch depth, so I don't have to worry about going through. All right, here's what I meant earlier about using this thing as a straight edge. Just put it up against there so the hinges are straight. All right. Now, I'm not too happy with how this thing is working. This drill bit is larger than I would like for pre-drilling for these screws. That's why I'm only going in just a little bit. Because if I were to do this like I would like, I would have to make a new one of these with a smaller drill bit, and I just don't want to take the time to do that. So we're just gonna, I should probably put a clamp on this. The last door I did, it wiggled around a little bit and it gave me a fit. Okay, got a clamp on there. We'll get the first one drilled, and that screw there will hold it for me. I can take the clamp off. All right, now time to final fit. Gonna trim off a little bit. What I think I'm gonna do is just measure how much I'm lacking. Looks like 1/8 of an inch. And I'm gonna wanna have a gap in the doors. You know what, technically, this cut should be an angled cut. I don't know if I wanna work that hard. But I have to take off almost 1/8 inch off each one of these things. Yep, I didn't tighten that one. All right, man, looking good. All right, here's what I was telling you about my parallelism here. I've eyeballed this. All right, and it looks like we're even with the cabinet there. And it looks like the same as here. Actually, you know what? The bottom of this one is to the right. Yes, and it is a little bit tall here. So, anyway, what I was getting ready to show you was I got a little more work to do. But I closed it and I put a pencil line on here just for reference. And you can see down here, I've got more than 1/8 of an inch, like 3/16. And up at the top, it's only about 1/16 of an inch. So when I get done dorking around with these adjustments to where I'm happy with how things look, I'll remark that. And then we'll do the final trimming on these doors, 1/2 and 1/2. All right, I'm happy with how that came out. I haven't trimmed the top yet because I want to wait until I get these doors in here to see what I'm dealing with. So let me show you something here. This piece of wood at the top, it's just a piece of 1x4 that's screwed up into the 1/2 inch plywood ceiling. Okay, and that gives something for the doors to hit on, which is not all that important as long as it's got something to hit on the bottom. But if I only had the bottom and nothing at the top, this would be kind of rubbery up here, like that kind of is, because the door's not completely flat. All right. So over here, I have not yet put this piece of wood up here. I have them somewhere. Oh, they're right there. I was borrowing these to hold my sink up when I was doing a mock-up with the countertop. But here's what I wanted to show you. Remember I was talking about how those are overlay hinges where the door is on top of the cabinet, right? The edge of the door is on top of the cabinet. This application here is different because of the design that it needed to be, that the doors have to be inlaid. If we put the door on top of this edge, then it would not be in alignment with the drawers. Now, technically, I could have made this thing differently, but no matter how you shake it, something would be out of alignment one way or the other between the drawers and the doors. So I designed these cabinets to have the drawers inset from the side. So now the doors have to also be inset because I want the door to line up with the drawers. And so this is one of those inlay hinges. It looks the same, but let's see if I can do this with one hand here. Get this thing out. When you can see that where the door, this is my mock-up of a door, right? When you go to open it, it pulls it out of the way from the side here. And then it pops into place. Okay, so I made this little mock-up here a little bit further away from the edge than 1/8. I'm going to measure that because I think I want to go a little bit closer to the edge here with the hole. Because in order to get this thing to sit where I want it to sit, I'm already, if you look right here, I've already adjusted that little gap right there. I've already adjusted this out a little ways, which there's plenty of adjustment in there, but there's lots of adjustment actually. But I think I'm gonna just double check that. You know what I'll do? I'll put this hinge on that other piece of plywood I have in the house and double check the depth for that. So, I mean, that looks like it's just about perfect. Over here we've got, oh, that's why. Over here we got a whole nother thing. So we want to have the doors overlay on top of this, but you see we're sharing the thickness of this because the drawers are over partly. So yeah, that's why this one has the extra, because it needs to overhang. Yeah, that if I were to take this adjustment back, I think that would put this right where it needs to be. So that way when the door is closed, I want to have an 1/8 inch space here. And at the same time, you also got to make sure that if you're going over further, that the edge here won't hit there. So it's a little precarious. But that's why I make these little template things up before I cut the door. So now we're going to start basically from the beginning again. All right, so here's the closet. I kind of remember where I left off last time. I've got this thing trimmed to fit, except for the height. You can see we're got a nice parallel line there. You got a nice parallel line in the middle, and then on the side. I do not have the spacer in the bottom, so we have to take off at least 1/8 of an inch for the height. But see what we got here with the crooked ceiling. I don't know what to do here. I guess for starters, I can scribe this now with this much of a gap, since I have that anyway. And and see how it looks. If I don't like it, then I'll just cut it straight. Okay, so I drew a line that matches the arc of the ceiling, which seems kind of ridiculous that I'm doing this, but let's just try it, man. I mean, push come to shove, like I said, we'll just cut the whole damn thing off. Both doors still need to go up 1/8 of an inch to give me my clearance on the bottom. So I've got that to work with. This will get us just matching what we've got here. Well, I guess it works. So I've got the doors all the way touching the sides just so that they'll stay and without falling. So I matched to the ceiling, and you know, I don't know. Trying to think if I like it or not. Sure is whacked out, man. I don't know. All right, well, got the pantry and the closet done. Well, they're installed anyway. Probably need a little bit more fine tuning. Vanities in. I'm happy with this. I got to trim the top, and we need to make sure we leave enough space here by the seams for our trim pieces to go. All these are going to cover all the seams across the bust there. But that's enough for today. It really looks nice. Works well.